Welcome to this highlight reel from our monthly webinar series featuring Matt Plapp from Driven Media Solutions. Welcome to this highlight reel from our monthly webinar series featuring Matt Plapp from Driven Media Solutions. Matt joined this session as our social media guru and provided a riveting 20-minute crash course. Matt covered why social media can change your business, and Matt explained how building a database of engaged customers enables you to remarket to those customers almost for free.
So what we want to talk about today is the fact that the problem most businesses have is this little chart that I've made up, my amazing artwork, is that
I could have helped you with that.
most businesses, especially restaurants, they spend money to drive sales. And the problem that I have with that is when you have a successful promotion, when a direct mail piece does great, when a radio campaign does great, and you want to have those same results next month, you've got to pay the piper. You got to spend money again. I'm a proponent of spending money to grow an audience, and we're going to talk about ways to do that. But two of the biggest things here, if you'll click the next slide, is the fact that nobody is seeing your content. It's businesses spent a lot of time, including myself, the past 20 years building an email list. I've started my email list in 1999. September of 99 is when I started mine for my business. Back then, you could get 80, 90% open rates, and it was great. People got an email, they were excited. Social media, the same thing. That 5 years ago, 10 years ago, social media, when we were doing Facebook back in 08, if you had 100 fans, 100 people saw what you posted. If you had 1,000, they saw it. Well, that went away. So that is the biggest thing that's happened right now, is that people spend time to build an audience, and the audience has gone away because of a couple of reasons. Now, if you go to the next slide, the email marketing part, we'll talk about why email. Yeah, Chris is going to talk later. It does have effectiveness still. All marketing works. It's a matter of how deep it works. And one of the biggest problems we've seen with email marketing that we're trying to solve with Messenger and moving forward is not trying to ruin it, because email was ruined by me, people like me, marketing people, restaurants. This snapshot on the left is from a restaurant, a fast food chicken style restaurant. And if you notice, every other email, the ones that go to 4,600 people, 4,678 people, that's the bulk of their emails. They're sending the exact message to the entire database. So Matt Platt might get a college night promotion. My assistant, who's 25 and single, might get a kids eat free. It doesn't relate to us. And so we ignore the emails. We start tuning them out the less specific we get. And so in this case, this client's got a database of 4,600 people that are getting their emails, but only 600 of them are opening on average. So there's 4,000 left out in the dark. So we're going to talk about how to fix that. And we're also going to talk about next mediums like Messenger. Now, the next slide is about social media. Facebook is pay to play, like it or not. And what I love about the fact that it's pay to play is the fact that you can use the payment to get your organic back up, like this is going to show you. And what happened with social media was Facebook, maybe it's how they started off on accident, I don't know. I remember when they went public, and all the talk was how Facebook wasn't generating revenue. And now I saw today that they're like shrugging their shoulders over a $4 billion fine they're going to get. They're like, we put the money aside. No big deal. It's like me putting $10 to my daughter for gas. But they hadn't figured out revenue 5 or 6 years ago. They've nailed it now. And what they've done is they've taken that water faucet. If you look at this, this is a Facebook page for a business that has about 5,000 fans. And on average, 500 to 700 are seeing their post on a daily basis. The highest one here is 900. Now, there are
so
ways
Matt,
to
what
get
you're
that
saying,
back.
So what you're saying is the folks on the right, as the 4,000 people that come to that page, anytime they put up a little shot of video, a clip, an employee interview, a photo of food, they're getting organically 500, 600, 700 views.
Yeah, for the most part. And so the majority of their audience aren't seeing it. And if you look, there's a little orange circle along that timeline there. We're going to show what that is in a couple slides. But that's what happens when you get organic traffic. So if we go ahead and go to the next slide, we're going to talk about how to get your audience back. And we're going to talk about what if you could get these people back. And so the next slide talks about the tale of two journeys. And this is what's powerful. And I was actually just looking at this. This is the Cantina page you were talking about. Here's a person that just redeemed their offer at the restaurant. And we're talking about ways to make things better. I want to find it because I just saw it. Here's a person named Brian Hansen. And Brian opted in on April 17th, so 8 days ago.
Yep.
Came into the restaurant today at noon, redeemed his offer in Messenger, spent $20.75 net, and then answered 3 questions. He let us know he eats with his family when he goes out to eat. He has kids under 18 years old, and he enjoys both lunch and dinner at the restaurant. So I'm going to tell you why that's
so now you know
significant
exactly what to promote to him.
Exactly. So if you look at this top line, email. Right now, email, you send 5,000 emails. If you're lucky, you get a 20% open rate. That's 1,000 open emails. That means 4,000 missed opportunities. If you get a 5% engagement rate of 50 conversations, some of those are going to be, hey, take me off your freaking list. But if you get 50 people engaged, you don't know what happens. Nobody comes running in like, dude, I got your burrito email. I'm here. They just don't do it. They forget. That's what marketing is. Well, if you look at Messenger, next line down, what we're seeing are dramatically different results. We're seeing the stats from email 20 years ago. 80% open rates, 4,000 open messages, 40% engagement rates, 1,600 conversations, and then we're able to, through Messenger, track that customer became a customer and see what they spent. Now, the cool part about that, how we don't ruin Messenger like we ruined email, was those questions I asked. We asked the customers, why do you eat here? When you come, like family and friends, we don't want to say, are you married or single? That's a little too intrusive. But typically people that answer, they come with family, are typically guys like me with kids. And then they ask, I'm with kids. And we find out the people, if they eat lunch or dinner. Why is that important? Because where I live, for example, not many people eat lunch around here because they work somewhere else. So we want to market to people. If they say they eat lunch at a place, okay, they probably work there. So let's not hit them with a Friday night promo. Let's hit them with a lunch promo and a take-home promo. Hey, it's 4 o'clock. If you're going to go home, we got a great offer to take something home with you, because we know they eat lunch here. They probably work here. So that is the way to get your audience back. It's Facebook Messenger. It's staying on the cusp of what's happening. And I can tell you, I talked to the head of Messenger 6 months ago at a conference and said that we're way ahead of everybody else. Restaurants, businesses haven't even started scratching the surface of this. And it comes down to more eyeballs.
More eyeballs and more actual conversations, right? More actual conversations with customers that you can track.
I mean, and it's, people ask the question. Somebody asked me today, why do I think it's so important? I tell them, if you could have if somebody is typing your name in Messenger, if somebody is messaging your page on Facebook 3, 4, 5 times in about 30 seconds to a minute, you're not only making an impression, you're having a conversation, and conversations lead to great things. And conversations, if you're talking to a cop, can lead to bad things, but it's not going there. So this is where we talk about getting your organic reach back. Now, one thing that we do in our program is we use our Facebook ads to encourage engagement. And we want to show Facebook that we're getting a lot of attention now. And so if you look at this, where that little orange bubble is, this is that same page I showed you earlier. We took a Facebook page that was getting very little engagement. We took our post for our promotion and we propped up the rest of the page. If you look, the numbers on this, the lowest reaching post on here organically, these are all organic, no money, is 900. That was the highest before. The other ones are 1,500, 1,300, 1,800. I think there's one for 1,900 on there. That is all done because all tides rise. Facebook is like, okay, why are all these people on this page all of a sudden? We're going to show the content to the people we should have been showing it to. But Facebook is all about their timeline not being eaten up with content that people don't want. It's like equivalent to if you opened up the sporting page of the newspaper, if you still get it, and it was political, you'd be confused. Well, on Facebook, they want to show people, and even Instagram and YouTube, when you get on there, they want to show you the most pertinent information that relates to you. So if they see that you're engaging with content from Rapid Fire or Hothead Pizza or I Pour It, they're going to keep showing you content that's relevant to that. And then the coolest part is they're going to look around your sphere. Okay, Matt lives near the Hothead in Union, Kentucky. Who else looks just like Matt, that lives in the near the hot-headed Union and is around that area right now, and they deliver the content there. That's what grows your database. Now, the next part is putting butts in the seats. This is probably the part that got me the most excited. Oh, is this video? Yeah, okay, here's video. So this is something I want to talk. We'll talk about this. I do this as an example. I picture you're at the Super Bowl. So everybody, we're at the Super Bowl. Darren, you're at home. You got your feet propped up. You got your own. You have an iPort system in your house, by the way?
I don't need one.
Maybe that'll stop.
And the reason is because I'm the only person who drinks at my house.
Well, he's very near a big iPort installation.
True, that's another one. Thank you.
So you've got your favorite adult beverage, you've got your Doritos, you're watching the Super Bowl. And imagine that first column, gain awareness. All marketing's goal is to gain awareness. Now imagine 2 days later, because Cheetos knows that you were watching their commercial on the Super Bowl, and they know that you said, oh man, honey, look at those new Cheetos, those are great. They hit you with another message. They retarget you. Well, it's not possible. And then imagine a week later, they say, hey, because you watched our Super Bowl commercial, because you watched our second commercial, we're going to hit you again. Not possible. Well, the bottom part is exactly what we did with the Hothead Cantina. About a month and a half ahead of time, we got a video from iPort, and we ran that video to hype up the audience around the restaurant. This is coming. Pay attention, check it out. And we did a very targeted audience, targeted men and women that have different beer affiliations, certain ages around the restaurant. Well, then about 3 weeks later, when we knew we were about 2 weeks out from an open, we ran the next one. And this was actual footage from the restaurant that Peter shot. He stood in front of the thing. He said, hey, what's going on? It's Peter from Hothead Canteen. I'm going to show you our great new concept. And he walked in the restaurant, showed him the beer wall. We used that, but here's what's unique. We retargeted the people who watched the first video, because we went to Facebook and said, hey, show me all the people that watched the first video. I'm going to show them this one. And then after that was all said and done, we showed them it again with a call to action. So when it was the third part was, there's Pete in front of the restaurant, the other screenshot of it. When he's in front of the restaurant, yep, we then put on there, tell us your favorite beer below and you'll be registered to win a burrito party for 10 people. And people started commenting, clicking the link, and it grew a database, and it allowed us to really amplify the marketing because we were having a specific conversation with people who had already engaged. It's equivalent to dating. If every week you were 21 years old, went to a different place, remember Groundhog Day, where he every day woke up and it was a new day? Well, that's traditionally marketing. We don't have Groundhog Day. We know tomorrow's marketing message hits the person we talked to yesterday, and then tomorrow's hits the person we talked to today. And so we're walking down a path. These are 3 social media posts, and we talk about gaining engagement, putting butts in the seats. You know, if you're a restaurant watching this, I'd ask you this question. When was the last time your one location business, like this Rapid Fire in Fairfield, had 4,800 comments? I can go ahead and give you the answer. It hasn't. I've never seen it. I saw a huge one by Culver's 3 months ago. They were bragging about the Industry Magazine. Their million person fan page had 2,000 comments, and it was a huge deal. Well, that is pretty cool. But when you can do it on a local level, it's even cooler. And this is what helps you get your engagement back. This is what helps you have conversations.
But wait, Matt, that's worth repeating in case anybody's fallen asleep with us here, is that somebody with the size of Culver's has 1 million people on their Facebook audience, theoretically, right? I remember Pete and I looked at our social media universe a year ago, and at a monthly basis, it was 1 million interactions. Now, half of those are people looking us up on a map, right? But are those 1 million people, they had 2,000 people interacting with them, actually commenting, liking. We're getting that at the store level every month, at all the individual stores with individual local patrons. That's the result. That's what this is really all about. And here's where you measure it, right?
There's where you measure it, because there's right there. I mean, this is a one location restaurant in Columbus, Ohio. That's a small brewery / like smokehouse. You know, this ad, and these people are around the restaurant. We are literally targeting 2 to 4 miles in certain directions, because we know if I go more than 2 miles this way, I get shot. We don't want to go that way. We know if we go 5 miles this way, we hit a river and people are in the river. So we've got certain things we're going after. And that's 4,000 comments, 894 shares. And it all
the
comes
sharing's
down to
amazing.
yeah, it comes down to being visible with the right people. But the cool part about it is, all of the interactions we do lead to Facebook Messenger, which lead to a messenger database. And the cool part about this, why I'm excited, is that the big boys, I talk to big brands all the time. It goes right over their head. They have no clue what's going on. I talked to one the other day, hundreds of locations. They can't fathom how this is happening. The cool part about it from a smaller level, they're too big to put it in place. They literally are scared of putting something new in place. The local guys can come do this tomorrow and get this thing going and crush it.
Well, and for us as a super regional brand, I mean, we have 2 brands altogether, about 100 stores, and that's what Pete and I are building together, building stores. This is our ability to compete with TV. This is our ability to compete with the big brands, and we're winning the hearts and minds of customers. And the reality is, people go to lunch with whatever or wherever is top of mind. Like you said earlier, whatever restaurant brand they heard of yesterday, when they think I'm hungry, it's what they heard of in the most last couple of days. Right, Pete? This is our cable TV mechanism, our sports TV way of being top of mind. So they decide, and we love having 2 brands because I'm hitting you with both, and maybe you pick tacos one day and pizza the next.
Yep.
All right. We're running tight on time. I think we have just a couple more things about the database there.
Yeah. So what I talked about earlier when I mentioned the person took the survey, and we talk like one thing we're getting real big on. We just hired a content manager. We're trying to get much smarter at this because we realized we have so much data. This is a dashboard in Facebook Messenger. Now, this is an app that plugs into Messenger. This is like equivalent to like a MailChimp. So the email example I showed you earlier, they had the 10 to 12% open rates and the 4,000 people who weren't engaging. And you saw that every email went to the same number of people. This is an example in a rapid fire of an audience that's been getting messages. And you look, this customer has about 5,000 people in their database. The only one that had a huge amount of people, 4,095 that got this, was the calzone. It was a brand new menu item. It was a marketing message. It had no sales pitch. It had no call to action. It was just this cool video of the calzone, rip it in half. That's all it was. But if you look at the other ones, none of them are close to 5,000. 721, 623, 2,700, 1,400. The reason is we have segmented the audience and said, how can we have a conversation with this segment that makes sense that this segment doesn't want to hear, and then have a different one here. And that's also why you see 88%, 84%, 92%. I mean, look at the one down there, the combo meal offer broadcast. 99.21% of people who got that opened it. Like, my wife doesn't listen to me that much. So, for good reason. And so that's the power of it. And this right here just
that's the conversion.
Some of the aspects. This is a cool part of how you can measure. Now, on one thing, you don't want to always discount in these promotions, but what is cool sometimes to do is have an offer in there so you can at least see you're on the right path. Because if I build a database of 5,000 people and none of them come in, it does me no good to have that database. But if I build a database, like in this case, 2,102 people were delivered this message for a cheesy stick, what's a cheesy stick cost the restaurant? $2?
Yeah.
So 2,102 were delivered. It was opened by 89.5%. 1,000 clicked it. Of those 1,000, they had about 2,500 in sale. I think it was like 178 people came in, redeemed that offer on their phone. So one, it allows us to attribute that this person is active. Let's send them another message that's branding in 2 weeks. That's telling them about XYZ, or talking about reason to cater parties, graduations. So we know we have a customer that's there, but it's really neat from a standpoint that you can see that you can attribute sales there, but also to see that a $2 item drove almost 200 people into a restaurant is pretty cool.
Yeah, and you can do it over and over again, which we're going to talk about, right? Is that when somebody redeems, now you know that guy likes us, and you trickle other offers, again, reducing the discount rates, keeping the ideas in front of them. And Pete, I'm going to have you go through, we're going to talk about some of our actual ads as examples of the content. This is just an upfront look at what one of those messages looks like. Really, it's as though your team, like Pete's team, is chattering away And you'll see in a minute how we get rewarded for that high chatter rate by Facebook and shown to a lot of people. So this is Matt's favorite dashboard. We're very tight on time, but Matt, we just step through the columns real quick. This is just one store, just as a single store example, right? It's the get awareness, build a database, and drive sales. And what everybody on this call cares about is what's my acquisition cost.
It's this. When we spend money to get awareness, why are we spending money? I'm a huge proponent of every dollar you spend, every penny should be to build a database. Now, you can build that database multiple ways. You can build the database to get video views on a social media or a YouTube video, a Facebook that you can retarget. You can spend that money to get a traffic to a specific page on your website, like you mentioned, catering. Let's drive people to a catering page. And then when we want to remarket to people who have visited the catering page, it's pretty simple. Hey, Facebook, YouTube, Google, show this ad to the people that came to this catering page. Or in like Darren's purpose, show this ad to people who visited about how to become an iPort company. And so
right, and we're going to
use part of that. The second part is build a database. And in this case, this is opt-ins in Facebook Messenger. And oddly enough, this next part is what has me the most excited, because it's when I'm able to tell clients that it's not working. Because the hardest part about marketing isn't knowing it's working. In my opinion, it's knowing it's not working. And if you know something's not working, you know where to cut bait. If you know something's working, you know where to ramp up. Like I've got a client I'm talking to tomorrow that said, Matt, we want to talk about the ad budget on the program. And so one of my conversations with them is going to show them that, hey, every time we spend, like if it was this client, an example, $7.14, we get somebody to walk through the door. Is that high? Is that low? But what's cool about this is I can see that of those opt-ins, 5,491 people, 31.63% of them physically walked into the restaurant. And what I always tell restaurant operators is that my goal as the marketing arm is to get somebody there once. It's Peter's job to deliver awesome experience on that visit to get them to go, I want to come back. And then after that, it's both of us together thinking how we can combine our efforts, bring people back more and more and more and more with great experience, great food, great self-serve beer, and then great reminders via marketing.
Again, check us out on the Wiley Development Group Facebook and or Wiley Development Group YouTube channel. You can watch recordings of these events.